الله الرحمن الرحيم أغيارتا قدوميها جاليدا قدوميها قلوها قوتida ku-xigeenadiisa أغيارتا ka kala timid magaalooyinka kala duwan Bolton Manchester dhammaantiinba waa salaamaya aad iyo aadna waxaan ka mahadcelinayaa kasoo qaybgalka shirkaan maanta halkaan isugu nimid soo qaban qaabiyeen golaha guurtida ee Sheffield shirku wuxuu ka koobnaan doonaa laba qaybood qaybta hore waxaan rabnaa inaan kusoo bandhigno barnaamij dib u heshiisiineed oo aan baryahanba ka shaqaynaynay barnaamijka ka shaqayntiisa waxay soo bilaabatay bishii Abriil ilaa hadda waa ka shaqaynaya meel dhex oo wuxuu marayaa aan dhammaad ahayn laakiin aad iyo aad la soo bandhigi karo marka ugu horeysa waxaan rabaa inaan idin baro horta labadaa nin kala asla naga maqan I want to present Mr. Seaton is MBE and member of British Empire and he's a black community leader in Sheffield. And this is Satish, is my friend and also a consultant who have been helping us to do this project. He have been working from the beginning up to now and he have done a very, very good job and I'm happy about it. And let me present you and introduce you to my friends from the Somali elders. Yeah. And Mr. Abd Omar is the community leader of the Somali diaspora in the UK and representing the Somali government. Mr. Sharif Ahmedey is our chairman of the Somali elders. And all the others is a second and vice chairman, Mr. Ma'u. And yeah, these guys, they came all the way from different towns in the UK. And intaas kadib waxaan rabaa horta marka hore presentation horta aad iyo aad waxaan waxaa computer waxa ay shaqeyn la soo jeedinaya oo ah qaabka dib u heshiisineed aan ka soo shaqeynay qaybta labaad Satish soo jeedinaya oo ah training sida loo sameeyo ka hadlaya dib u heshiisiintu aan diyaar gareynay oo reer Sheffield ay ka soo shaqeeyeen waxay ka kooban tahay stage ka kooban tahay stage-ka hore waxa weeye in halkan Ingiriiska dad lagu tababaro dadkaas waxaa la barayaa nabadda sida dib u heshiisiinta loo sameeyo sida maamulada loo abuuro sida mataqaanaa managementka loo sameeyo training waxa bixinaya stage bixinaya training kaas markay qaataan central unit waxa weeye waa qaybta maamulka waxay ka koobnaan doontaa marka qayb dhaqaalaha qaabilsan haddii ilaahay idinka trainingka qayb qaabilsan mataqaanaa auditing iyo barnaamijka inay dib u eegto in wixii si sax ay u socdaan marka barnaamijku waa barnaamij bilow ah laakiin waa wax la soo bandhigi kara hadda haddii ilaahay barnaamijka qaybaha ka dhiman waxaa ka dhiman qaybtii dhaqaalaha su'aalo badanaa weli furan oo aanan dhammaystirin su'aalahaasuna shaqo dheeraad ay u baahan yihiin insha Allah markay soo dhammaystirmaanna waa soo bandhigaynaa مثلا سؤالها ugu muhiimsan waxa tahay lacagta xagee laga helayaa lacagta lagu qiimeeyo qiyaasida ay noqonaysaa taas waa wax golaha guurto dhan wada yaalo sidii mataqaana waxa lagu raadin lahaa iyo qaabkii loo mar lahaa marka horta structure-ka baashu saasay ay noqon doontaa insha Allah taala specifically sida uu training ku noqon doono Satish aan ku wareejina asaga ka shaqeynaya Satish tan ka shaqeeyo ninkan waxa weeye mid in badan wuxuu ka shaqeynaya wax la yiraahdo community development wuxuu ka soo shaqeeyay barnaamijyo dib u heshiisiineed oo lagu sameeyay dhowr waddan oo kala duwan sida qaasata wadamada Latin America ayuu ka soo sameeyay projectyaal fara badan oo dib u heshiisiin wadamada ay ka dhaceen dagaalo sokeeyay marka waa qabiir Soomaalidana si fiican u yaqaana ninkan Kenya ku dhashay asagu wuxuu ku dhashay magaalada Nairobi halkan lafteeda Sheffield shaqo badan oo ka qabta community development si ethnic minority-ga loo hormariyo shaqo loogu abuuro ayuu ka soo qayb qaatay marka waa nin qabiira marka haddana insha Allah taala asaga training programmeska asaga idinka sheekeyn doona
Let me just say a few words before I start with the project. I worked for about 15 years with an adult education center as the chief executive and a refugee integration project. And along with Mr. Seaton, who was the chair, we had involvement with all the communities, ethnic minority communities in Sheffield, including Somali. So we have developed the Somali mental health project, IT projects, a number of them. So I'm glad for the opportunity to be involved with the Somali community again on this very important project. Now, as far as the project is concerned, as Abdullah Mohammed already explained, there will be a central unit, the core unit, and he explained all the departments in that, right? That will be in charge of the national project, but to deliver the peace education in different regions, the 5 regional training hubs or training platforms will be established with the same facilities of management, publicity, and the rest of it. In other words, each regional training hub will be exact, okay, but answerable to the national central unit. Now, to start off with the training program, the idea is that 50 trainees, 10 from each one of the regions, are training in peace education and reconciliation. They'll go intensive training in peace resolution strategies, social development, community support, communication skills, and so on and so forth. Once the trainers hubs to each region and initiate training of other people. So the trainers themselves will undertake training of further 50 people in each one of the hubs. In other words, at the end of the training program for peace and reconciliation, there will be 2,500 trainers, trainees, and peace educators who will go into the communities and implement the training with community groups, with social organizations. So what that means is that 2,500 trainees will be spread throughout the country. Okay? They will not work in isolation. Since it's a community-led project, where the community, they themselves will be trained in management skills, office management, IT and database management, publicity and communication skills, and all the other training programs, including social action skills, community development skills, community cohesion skills, will be fully equipped to look at all aspects of training and manage that training, including monitoring and evaluation, budgetary control, office management, and the lot. Right? The educators, peace and reconciliation, they in turn, elders groups, so they can work with the elders, yes, that the elders have, and also at the same time work with the mosques, those people in the mosques who are committed to the idea of peace and reconciliation, the religious leaders, with the support of the religious leaders. I believe Somalia has got 18% of its population, which is the youth population, under the age of 30. Even a bigger case in Somalia, which has got such a young population. So work with the youth will be another very central focus of the training program. Women's groups cannot be ignored because mothers can be nation builders. So ensuring that women are fully engaged, able to teach peace education to their own children as the children are growing up, right? And insert their own sensitivities. Women tend to be far more sensitive than us lot, right? So very important to involve the women's groups. Now, one of the other focuses of the project is peace through justice. As long as social injustices exist in the nation, to talk about peace becomes very difficult. I've spoken to Ahmed a lot, I read books and done research, plus my own experience in devising peace education in other countries, in reconciliation education, as is the case of Jamaica that I did where I lived for a very long time. In Jamaica, late in the 70s, the country was on the brink of a civil war, where the government and opposition were fighting each other, and the communities were divided. Part of the role my role with the agency was to educate people in reconciliation education, economic development, and developing a livelihood as communities. So all my experience there in other countries also indicates to me that the centerpiece of any education has to be an emphasis on encouraging people to create their own wealth through self-help. That is not to say to take over or attempt to take over or contradict the role of the state. The state itself has a responsibility for economic development, business development, social affairs, so on and so forth. But the whole idea of the project was based. Too many times in different parts of the world, experts from outside come, preach to the people without fully understanding the realities, the experiences of people themselves, their aspirations, their difficulties. So the idea is to have a bottom-up approach. That approach can be applied. I've been engaged in projects in Central America, in the Caribbean, where self-help, community development, economic development was no longer just words. The economic situation was so dire that communities themselves have to look into their own resources and build an alternative economy along with what the government did. So the idea is that peace education will merge in with those organizations, those agencies, those actors whose role is economic development, whether it be community projects or small businesses or whatever, right? Our peace educators would not do that because they can't spread too far. But they'll certainly, through linkages and being part of the committees, become part of that process so that the impact of the peace education can be enhanced by linking with medical care groups, women's groups, whatever the social activities are, and having dialogue with them and working out with them how their work can be integrated with peace education will be very important. It will also help to build the credibility of the project with ordinary people who very often, for very good historical reasons, have given up, alienated, don't trust anybody. So success of the project depends very much on building trust, breaking down barriers, right? Promoting peace along with the idea of social justice. Now, we know from our own experience in Sheffield, even with the Somali community, the promotion of cultural activities is a very important way of getting people together. Sports is another way of getting people together, to break down barriers between people who at one stage may have been enemies. Through those kind of means, people can be brought together. So that'll be another aspect of the project. Okay? These are some of the ideas which are need to be implemented. But critical in that is community empowerment. While it is true that outside experts, instead of being a help, they can be a hindrance. But one cannot go to the other extreme and say experts are totally useless. That would be foolish. Expertise, skills are needed at the best of times. The communities themselves would need to acquire those skills, leadership skills, communication skills, confidence building skills, so that the project is genuinely community-led. People are able to gain the confidence to say that this is our project, this is our country, we want to be masters of our own destiny. And we can contribute to our future and our own destiny. Okay, I think I said enough.
socoteen shirkii Birmingham lagu qabtay fikirka uu ku yimid programkan inaan sameeyno waxay ahayd markaan Birmingham madaxweynaha kula kulannay aan ka codsanay inaan mataqaanaa iscaafis ka sameeyno halka ka bilowno dib u heshiisiin aan ka bilowno horta fikirku halkaas uu noqday tan labaad waxay tahay madaxweynaha markii la doortay Xasan Sheekh Maxamuud programkiisa uu ahaa 6 pillar plan lixda tiir oo ugu talagalay 4 sano soo socota inuu Soomaaliya ka hirgeliyo lixdaas tiir ayaa waxa weeye saddexda qaybood ugu horeeya muhiimadda ugu weyn ee leeyihiin ay tahay nabadeynta sida ummadda Soomaaliyeed lagu nabadeyn lahaa marka aniga waxay ila muuqatay inay tahay inay muhiim tahay haddaan nahay qurba joogta Ingiriiska joogta inaan qaybteena ka qaadano golaha guurtida UK inaan arrintan qaybteena ka qaadano in waxa kaloo jirto ninka saaxiibka Satiish ugu kordhiyay wadamada ay ka dhacaan dagaalada sokeeye waxa jirta dhibaatada ugu badan waxay ka timaadaa wax la yiraahdo qurba joogta diaspora waa dhibka ugu badan sababtoo ah badanaaba diaspora waxay ogaayeen meeshii lagu dagaalamay laakiin wixii ka dambeeyay may ogo meeshii ka maqan yihiin marka isbedelka dalka ka dhacaya laba socdaan diaspora ayagu laakiin wali meeshii 19 iyo 29 taagan yihiin marka horta bal inta dib u heshiisiinta halka laga bilaabo wax dadkii anfaca aan ka nimid iyo mataqaanaa dawladana anfacaad u ah inaan meesha geeyno horta arrinta fikirka ay programka ku yimid waa kaas waay
maxaa diiday in golaha guurtida ay ballansadaan magaalo walbo odayaasha degan ee Soomaalida ka mas'uulka ah inay wada hadlaan liis cafiyo wixii la kala sheeganayo macnihii laga wada hadlo intii aan macnihii mar walbaba ajnabi intaan wacno ee wax noo sharaxi lahaayeen waddan hebel wixii ay ka soo qabteen iyo waddan hebel wixii ku fiicnay soo taas kama fiicna markii in macnihii wada hadal isla tashi aan midnimadayna isku cafino aan ku keenno.
But a very important point that I missed. The diaspora communities have a very big role in this project. The fact of the matter is that the Somalian diasporic communities send money home to relatives. Even though in Britain, the diaspora community is not that well developed financially, but they're certainly better than people at home. In other countries, though, without their support, the idea of social and economic development at the community level is very, very difficult. But as things return, the environment for economic development will improve. And as people start investing in businesses, the community in Somalia are much greater to the common benefit. I've done a bit of work with the Jamaican diaspora, which Seaton was involved with, right? And I've done a lot more work with the development of the Indian diaspora, which at this point is a very powerful organization, able to influence government policies in relation to trade and investments and social peace, because the government there needs their money. Therefore, sometimes they have to forget the internal infighting between different parties and do the right things because that's what the diaspora community wants. This is a phenomenon throughout the world, whether it's in Somalia or Latin America or whatever. Local people think more highly of the diaspora communities, right? Maybe it's good reasons or bad reasons, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that anything the diaspora communities promote has greater credibility with the local communities. So in that sense, a strong diaspora community involving as many Somalis and Somali organizations in this country is very critical. Kenya is another source. I'm Kenyan originally. Kenya always had a very dynamic commercial community from Somalia, of Somalian origin. And I'm going back to my childhood when I was at high school. In the meantime, I'm sure the Somali diaspora community in Kenya is very powerful and very strong economically. And Somalia is only next door. So forming linkages of trade and commerce with those communities is another important aspect. This project can only provide education along with peace education in the belief that social and economic development education and peace education go hand in hand, right? But ultimately, there'll be responsibility of other actors in Somalia. That's understood. Yeah. But certainly, the peace educators can carry out that kind of dialogue. Thank you.
Myself before say something about the project. I've been in Sheffield a long time. And I've been working in the community. I'm one of those that believe that the community should have a say in what's happening in the city, in the council. So I end up with a few of us that create the Black Community Forum. That was an organization that embraced all communities. Not because I was a Jamaican, it wasn't a Jamaican organization. It was an organization for the Somalis, the Yemenis, Pakistani, everybody was involved in it. We had a good structured organization, well disciplined. And it's all because people start to move on. And we didn't want it to be taken over by getting grants from council and everything, because we don't believe that grant is everything to run your life with. I'm also, in that time, involved in SRB program, involved in New Deals, involved in everything that was happening. So when I was asked if I want to come and support this project, I didn't have any hesitation, because when I look at what the project aim and the long-term aim of what the project can achieve, I think is something worth supporting. But before the project can get the support it needs, it has to reach out with dialogue to all the elders across Britain, all the Somali elders. Because the elders have to understand what the project is about and endorse it and then manage it in the end. And what we talk about, that what we call that we should have a council of elders that will be overseeing the project from an advisory group, and the young people will be actually the council that manage the project. All that need to be discussed and work out. And as Satish mentioned, in training program talking about training, peace, education, economics. It has to start in this country. If it starts in this country, community. So that is why this project is important. And that is why you, the elders, have to study it, look at it, make recommendation, do adoption to it, and endorse it in the end. You see? And from my point of view, or where I stand, I can only give you the support that the project needs. Thank you very much.
A team with me, because I don't have all the skills, right? Martin has been an excellent resource in terms of computer systems and data management. In the last project that we did with the refugee center, Martin set up excellent budgeting, control, and information management systems. Any time that my skills fail in computers, which are very often, he'll be there, I think, as a backup. Thank you.
Somali elders in the UK. And we will go now to the next part of our today's meeting, which is about the elders. And I appreciate your help, and I thank you very much. في الكاميرا برنامج كسو الشقيقي معاونات فرا بدن ka geystay iyagana aad iyo aad baan ugu mahadcelinayaa haddii aan leedahay qarash haddii aan leedahay xoog intaba waan u mahadcelinayaa barnaamijka qaybtiisa labaad aan hadda guda galaynaa waxaa jira baaq aan xalay mataqaanaa guddoomiyaha jaariyadda uu soo diyaariyey in mataqaanaa balbaaqaasna la isla eego meeshana mataqaanaa gunaanadkii uu ka soo baxo aan marka hore ku wareejiyo guddoomiyaha jaaliyadda.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ولا لي مركب السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عليكم السلام.
بعد السلام عن مركب رئاد ومهد أنليا جاليد الرشفيل واسكو حلقانتي جاليد الرشفيل واسكو حلقانتي munaasabadan qiimaha badan inay qabanqaabiyaan oo salkeedu ku hayso inay isugu yimaadaan golaha guurtida Soomaaliyeed ee UK runtii waxaa sharaf ii aniga inaan ka soo qayb gala xafladan maadaama aysan ahayn tii jaaliyadda laakiin golaha guurtidu laftirkoodu waa jaaliyadda ay qayb ka yihiin sidaa darteed